Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. This is your girl, Fame, with Tiffany Renee. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you are returning, welcome back. I appreciate you and thank you for stopping by. On this channel, we talk about everything that has to do with metaphysics, quantum physics, things that are of an esoteric nature, spiritual nature, and everything in between. Everything that has to do with this journey called life and how we can pursue this journey with the absolute best version of ourselves and with the best type of energy and high vibration and alignment that we can possibly find. I appreciate you all for showing up. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do all the wonderful things for this channel. We're growing and I want to continue to bring you content that you want to see. So please send me some content ideas. If you want specific topics, let me know in the comments, and I will, make videos about things that you want to see, because I definitely want to make sure that I'm catering to you all and bringing you the content that you actually want to see. Okay, so other announcements really quickly. I am still working on my Patreon. I am doing a Patreon page that is coming soon. I'm also creating another site where I'm going to have some new ebooks uploaded. I'm going to upload my original book, Pounds Down, Forks Up, and I'm also going to create a new ebook about my concert experiences called The Golden Seat, and it's going to be like a whole kind of a series thing, and I may include some courses and some tips and things to help you have the best, not just concert experience, but also the best up-leveling of life experiences, the best VIP experiences based on my own personal experiences. And I'm just going to share them with you all. So, because who doesn't love a good VIP experience? Come on now. Okay. So all of that is coming soon. Okay. Today, we're doing a manifestation success story. All right. It's been a little while since I've done a concert manifestation success story. So I'm bringing you a few. Okay. So these are the most recent ones. These are going to be 3 of the most recent ones that I have gone to. This one that I'm going to tell you about now, I just went to like 48 hours ago. So it's super recent, and I was able to make it back to be in my state. I was able to be in my state for it, and it was pretty awesome. So sit back, relax, get you some tea, get you a little drink, and get you a snack or something, because this is good, because it exceeded my expectation. Like it was insane. So much happened, even through the chaos and the crazy stuff. And when it just looked like it wasn't going to happen, baby, it came through even better. And this is what I'm talking about when you persist in what you want, and just by shifting and adjusting your perspective, how you instantly jump on a new timeline. So without further ado, let's get it. So I knew that the Final Lap tour, which is 50 Cent's tour, if you're familiar with 50 Cent, and he was bringing Jeremiah, the R&B singer Jeremiah, and Busta Rhymes. Y'all know I love me some Busta Bus, okay? As well. They were opening for 50 Cent. I've never seen Jeremiah live, and I've never seen 50 Cent live. I've seen Busta live once at a very small venue, not this year, but last year, so almost 2 years ago now. And so It was awesome. And I always thought to myself, I would love to see him on a bigger stage because that smaller venue, I'm like, that was too small for his kind of energy. Okay. So I'm like, he needs to be on a bigger stage. So the universe responded because he ended up being on the same tour with 50 Cent. Like, the universe listens to me when it comes to concerts. I've noticed that. Like, it's crazy. So they were here 2 days ago on a Thursday. And I was first concerned because I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be, home. I'm going to have other commitments. I'm going to be out the state. I'm not going to be able to make it, and, they were going to be in the state where I was going to be in at the time, because it was going to be like a work thing. And but the tickets were like way more expensive. And I wasn't familiar with those arenas. And all this stuff was in my head when the tickets first went on sale. And so I didn't buy one because I didn't know what was going to happen. But I said, I'm going to wait and just kind of see what transpires. But I kept affirming that I want to see them here. Like, I wanted to be home, like in Indiana. I wanted to be here, and I wanted to see them at the venue where they were going to be here because I was familiar with it. And, I wanted an opportunity to see Busta again. And he had just gotten the Lifetime Achievement Award from BET, and I wanted to do a new painting for him. I did one for him 2 years ago, but I wanted to do a new one because I was really inspired to do like a different one for him this time. And I just wanted to be home. I didn't want to be anywhere else. So a series of events transpired. But long story short, I did end up being home on Thursday, the day that the show happened. And I was very excited about it. Now, I was acting as if, how I do. I got my outfits, okay? I had picked out my ponytail. I knew how I was doing my nails and my shoes, okay? My shoes had lights on them, and I charged them, and I will add pictures at the end of this video so you can see the outfit. The thumbnail is the face. I had the jewels and everything. Listen, I was doing the most. Okay, we did the nails and stuff. Okay, we did the nails for the show, all of that. Because I knew that I'm going to be at this show, and I'm going to probably be in the front. And so, that's how I operate. I get into that mindset of I have to be in the front. I have to be in the front row all the time. Now, this particular show, I materialized a second row seat. It came out of nowhere, which the average person would say second row is a phenomenal seat, right? Which it is. It really is, okay, especially at that venue. So I said, I'm going to buy this seat just to get in because it comes with the parking, just so I can park. But I'm going to end up in the front somehow, whatever. Because I've done that before. Just buy a seat just to get in to cover the parking. And then somehow, some way, I end up being moved around because of some crazy bridge of incidents. Let me tell y'all something. It was freaking hot. It was a scorcher, okay? It was so humid, right? It was ridiculous. With the humidity, I think it ended up being like 111 degrees outside. And it was an outside venue, okay? It was so freaking hot. And I still, it was hot, okay? It was just the humidity. It was kind of hard to breathe, but I'm like, we're going to push through this because I look too fabulous, and I'm going to get my manifestation. The goal was to see Busta Bus, and say hi to him and hope that he remembers me, and maybe show him our picture from 2 years ago and just get another picture, say hi, give him the painting, get down the front row and get my life per usual, okay? Well, the way the stage was set up, 50 had pyro. So if you haven't seen the show yet, I think he's in Cincinnati tonight. So there's fire. Okay. And so because of all the pyro, they had to move the rows back. So they had to take out the actual first and second row. So the first and second row was actually the third and fourth row. So we were actually further away from the stage than where we usually would be. And it was a lot tighter. It was so tight, right? But it's like the fire marshal said that it had to be like that. So you could kind of barely move. And it wasn't the most ideal setup for the first two rows, right? So like we were very close together. And which is it's fine because I mean, it was like second row was practically in the front anyway. They were almost kind of merged together. But regardless, I got up. I was meandering around because it was so hot, drinking on my water. And I was, talking to some of the security people who I remembered how I knew, talking about this painting. And they were like, oh, it's better because Jeremiah came on and he performed and he was awesome. And then, I was trying to figure out how to be in the front row, because that's how I do, But they were like, okay, go and get the painting. It's at guest services and bring it down because Busta's about to come on and just like hold it up and then like maybe like hand it to him from the stage, whatever, which is really rare. They usually don't tell you to do that, but I did it. I was escorted with security to go do it, come back, did it. But then his security was like, okay, it's technically too big to be down here. So take it around the corner where the backstage is and then hand it to that security person and then they'll take it back to the dressing room. Okay. So I did that and I felt like I kind of missed the majority of Busta's set, you know what I mean? Because I had to keep doing all that back and forth and it was hot and I was doing all that walking. So yeah, I was starting to feel kind of weak, even with, the water and all that type of stuff. So like I said, it was hot. Anyway, the goal was still there. I was still affirming because I had been visualizing and all of that I'm still holding on to my fulfilled desire. Okay. Neville Goddard talks about it all the time. I'm still holding on to that. I'm still seeing my wish fulfilled. And it's just what's going to happen, period. It's going to happen somehow, some way. So 50 came on. And even though the sun set, it was still hot because I had been out there for hours. And I started to, feel really weak, even though he put on a phenomenal show. Oh my gosh. Mike Epps had showed up because he's from Indianapolis and he came on stage and everything. Maybe the last 15 minutes of the show, I collapsed. Like I couldn't even, it was so hot because I was smack dab in the middle of like the second row area. It was so hot that I just like dropped in my chair and I just started to tip over. Like I'm pretty sure like I like blacked out for like a few seconds. And then it was just enough time for them to like grab me and get, security and just kind of like drag me out. Like, yes, so embarrassing, like passing out from the heat. Okay. And they got me out of the row and just like put me on the end so I could have more air because it was so much heat being right there in the front, down in the center. It was so hot because the fire was right there. The pyro was right there as well. Oh my God. It was some shenanigans, okay? It was crazy. This is the cost of like concert life sometimes, okay? But they cooled me off and the paramedics had to come and I was just like still kind of tipping over, kind of dead weight a little bit. And they were like, you got to stand up. Like we got to hold you up. Like don't pass out completely. So everyone did a great job. The staff, security, the medical people said like, we're just going to walk. We're just going to walk slowly. And they brought me water and they put me in front of this industrial fan that blew water and air. And they took off my jacket and everything. And I was there for about 10 minutes and I'm like, okay, because I don't really want to completely miss the show because I paid for that, paid for that seat. And they were like, we'll just put you on the side and it's only like 10 minutes left anyway and you're fine. And I was like, okay. So I did that and then I felt a lot better just getting away from the front area of the crowd and I already could breathe better and I felt so much better. So we were like, okay, cool. So the medics checked me in and we were fine. Okay. So then there was an after party And it was actually at the venue, which I've never heard of that before because I've been to that venue many times and I've never known them to have meet and greets, yes, but I've never heard them have the after party at that venue. So they set up a little area and I saw that they were selling wristbands at first, like when you first walked in, but I mean, I didn't buy one or whatever, but and then they ended up like selling out anyway. So I was like, well, that's interesting that they're having an after party. And it was 50 Cent was hosting the after party. And then there was confusion of whether or not Busta was going to be there. Some people were like, yeah, he's coming. No, he's not. Yeah, he is. No, but ultimately, you know, I did run into some of his people and they were like, yeah, he's definitely going to show up. He probably won't be there long, but he's going to pop in. And because I was still inquiring about, did y'all get the painting to him? Because it passed through so many people's hands, right? So all this time, I'm still affirming that I'm going to meet him. Like, in spite of nearly passing out from heat and all that type of stuff, I'm still like, this is part of my bridge of incidents. This is still okay because I'm still going to meet Busta. Like, I'm still going to meet him tonight. I'm still going to see him, period. So they had me, like, just kind of wait around as, you know, everyone was kind of starting to leave or whatever, because I was just getting out the way of all the foot traffic. And then somebody from his team was just, like, hanging out and so just kind of reminded people of the after party or whatever. And there was this young lady, gorgeous, okay? And, you know, she had the ponytail, she had this bodysuit, okay, this jumpsuit or whatever. She was fabulous, okay? The body was bodying, the ponytail was ponytailing, and she was gorgeous, okay? She was Miss Gorgeous. She had the stilettos. Everybody was stopping and complimenting her, and her friend was taking pictures of her and everything. She was stopping traffic. She was stunning, okay? And the guy, like after party dude, you know, I guess maybe he was looking around to maybe do a little bit of recruiting or whatever, because that happens sometimes at concerts. You know, you find the pretty girls and you bring them to the VIP. You take them to the after party, or you take them backstage. Concert life, it happens, right? And she was selected. And of course, she wasn't going to leave her friend. So, of course, he was like, okay, well, friend can come too. But it was because of how she looked and how the body was bodying. And she was fabulous. She was gorgeous, okay? And so we were sitting next to each other. And I mean, I asked him if he had seen the painting or whatever, and if he could confirm if Busta got it, whatever. But he was like, you know, I'll find out for you. But all attention turned to Miss Gorgeous. And for a split second, you felt, I mean, there was that little bit of a sting, like, oh, dang, I must look horrible right now because, because in comparison to her, she was still so put together in spite of the heat, you know what I mean? And I was still like super dewy and sweaty. My jewels had just melted off and my hair was probably a little bit fuzzy and ponytail was a little bit fuzzy. And, you know, I still had my jacket off and stuff because I was so hot because they had just pulled me out from the heat and stuff. And I'm like, do I look that horrible? Because, you know, those false beliefs that we were told that you have to look a certain way to get that type of privilege, you know what I'm saying? Just for a second kicked in, you know? Then I had to remind myself quickly, you know, to quote Juliet Cleary, who I was listening to earlier today when I was putting on my face, it's just an opportunity to choose. So I was like, okay. I was just choosing. I could have chosen to go in that place and feel like, oh wow, I'm not good enough because I'm not cute like her, and maybe my body's not bodying right like hers is, and maybe I'm not dressed cute or enough the way she is dressed or whatever, and something about me is lacking, and that's why I was just picked over. You know what I'm saying? I could have went down that rabbit hole, but within seconds, this is how I know I'm changing. You know, I'm becoming a different version of myself, because it didn't do that. My mind didn't go there. It went there for a few seconds, and then it was I'll see her in there. I was like, bless. I know he's taking them to the VIP. He's taking them to the after party. And probably to let them in for free because, she's gorgeous and they're taking the friend. But I'm going to see her there. I'm going to see her in there. I know it. I'm going to see her in there. And bless, I'm glad she's going because she's gorgeous, and I'm going to see her there. That was my response. I'll see her there. Didn't know how. Did I know? Did I really I don't know. But I just said it. I just said I'll see her there. That's all I said. And then I just started walking and just asking, so where's it at? Where's the location? Because, hey, maybe as I'm walking, I might see Busta. I don't know. So I get all these directions and I find the place. And as I'm walking back, I run into someone else from his camp. And we're talking and I show him the painting and he was like, oh, I'm going to go look for it for you. I'm going to go but hang out here. Because at first security was like, if you don't have a wristband, you can't get in. You can't be around here. But then Team Bus was like, well, hang out here because I'm going to go try to find this painting. So it's like, okay, they can't tell me to move because I was told by the team that to stay here. So I'm waiting. And, guy comes back out who brought in Miss Gorgeous and he was also like, yeah, he's definitely going to be here. So, if you hang out here, you'll probably see him when he comes in. And we saw when 50 Cent came in because he came in through the back way and saw him when he got out all his SUVs and walked in. And when he started performing and everything, could hear him and was like, oh, okay, so 50's in there. Cool. And I guess he was taking pictures with people and everything at the time when he first walked in. Before he started performing, which was cool. And I had another security lady, she was really nice and she was Buddhist and she was, chanting and saying that because she wanted to see what the painting looked like. I showed her a picture of it. She was like, oh, it's beautiful. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to meet him and I'm going to chant this prayer for you and it's going to be great. It's going to work out. And I was like, thank you. Appreciate it. And everyone was just so nice. And there were these other tour guys who I had met earlier and he was really trying, you know what I mean? And it was like everybody was championing for me to have my experience. And I'm like, this is really part of my bridge of incidents because so many other people were like, okay, we need to make this happen for her. We need to find this pay and make sure it gets to him. Something has to happen for her. You know what I mean? And they just kept telling me I had really good energy and really good vibes and stuff like that. It was really sweet. And I was like, y'all are being so nice to me and I'm just like super grateful. And so while he's still inside performing 50, somebody from his team, from Busta's team, is like, oh, here he comes now. And I turn around and he was coming from the back way. He wasn't even coming in from like the same way 50 came in, like from the back where the entertainers were entering. He came from around, like from back where the main part of the venue was and came around that way. And he had his, security and his lady and all that type of stuff. Everybody was, there. And I just happened to be off to the side and I just kind of darted in. I had my phone open with the picture of the painting. I'm like, hey, I made this painting for you. And do you remember? And I swiped and I showed him our picture from 2 years ago or from last year. And he remembered me and he stopped. And he was just so excited and so pleasant. And he just was smiling. And we chatted and, he gave his condolences for my grandmother, passing and everything. And like, he was just so wonderful. And then, we took a selfie again, took another picture. And I look a hot mess, like literally hot mess, super sweaty and stuff. It was so good. He even started to sweat because it was so humid outside. He had just got out there. But we got our second picture. And then I told him, he gave me a hug and I said, I know you got to get inside. And, I can't go in because I don't have a wristband or nothing. But you have a great time. And, thank you so much, for stopping and chatting with me. And he put his arm around me, people. Remember, I was told like multiple times, if you don't have a wristband, you can't get in. Okay, they're sold out. You can't even buy them anymore, right? But because I kept saying to myself that I was going to meet him, I met him, right? I met him again, but the universe even exceeded the expectation because I would have been fine going to the after party, and I would have, either way, it would have been fine, or if I couldn't go, that would have been fine too. But I was indifferent. I was neutral about it. You know what I mean? I just wanted to have my experience with Busta, and I got that experience. And the fact I was like, I know he had to go in because he was going to perform for 30 minutes right after 50. And so I just let him know, I know you have to get inside, so I'm going to let you get inside, but I'm not going to be in there because I can't get in. But you have a great time. And he put his arm around me and he told me, literally, I kid you not, I can't make this up. I can't make this up, people, okay? Can't make this up, family. He put his arm around me and said, you coming in with me. You know how he talks, right? You coming in with me. And I was like, what? And I was like, really? Because they said I can't come in without a wristband. He was like, you coming in with me in the discussion. You coming in with me. And it was like, basically, and if anybody got something to say, they could talk to me in a discussion. You coming in with me. And he had his arm around me tight. And I put my arm around his waist because he's like so much bigger than me. And he was literally walking me in. Left everybody else to the side. He just was walking me, and we walked to the door. And the security lady was like, I mean, he got his arm around you. Of course you getting in. Like, that's your wristband. I can't make this up, y'all. I can't make it up. We walking into the after party. Busta Rhymes got his arm around me, escorting me into the after party. People. Okay? People. You hear me? Do you hear me? He stops to talk to the security guy right at the door. One of the guys who was being very clear that I couldn't come in, which was fine. Like, I wasn't really even asking to come in. I was just hanging out. But he was like telling everybody, if you were hanging out, like if you don't have a wristband, you can't be over here. He stopped to talk to him, say hi to him or whatever. And then he tells that security guy, he starts to tell him the story about how a couple years ago, I made him a painting and it's still in his house. I immediately pulled out my phone and I started recording him talking because he mentioned the first painting I did for him. And then when he realized I was recording, he started looking in the camera and started telling the story again. And he told the story about how he has this painting in his house. He still has my painting, but he couldn't remember who did it. And he was like, and this is the woman who did it. And he just gave me that acknowledgement. And it was just so wonderful. We had a wonderful video moment. I mean, I gave my brother and my cousins a shout out. Like, it was awesome. We was praising God. Like, it was such a great moment. I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening again. And I said, and I made you another painting, for getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. And he just looked so surprised. And I'm like, okay, so maybe his team didn't give it to him yet. Like, because he looked so shocked that he didn't even know that I had brought the second painting. And then you could hear the security guy on the video say she did because he knew. He was like one of the head of security. He was like, he knew that it came, that I brought it. And so he was super excited to give me a big hug again. And I will have all this stuff recorded and I will add that video to the end of this video so you guys can watch that and see all that energy. And oh my gosh, we entered into that after party and he was announced, by 50 and the DJ. And his arm was around me and people were crowding around I met Spliff Star, the amazing Spliff Star who's always on stage with him, his right-hand man who's always by his side, you know what I mean? And I met him. I got a picture with him, and I was literally standing right behind where he was sitting. They literally escorted us right to behind the rope in the VIP area, you know what I mean? And I hung out with his lady and her best friend, and she was just the sweetest. And I mean, we took pictures, like we talked, and like I was sitting here thinking like, oh my God, I'm literally in the VIP section at this after party, escorted in by the Busta Rhymes. And then 50 gets off the stage and his car is like right there, like waiting, like Team 50 is ready to like whisk him away, right? And so he walks past and he clearly recognizes, Busta's lady and acknowledges her. And then I guess he thought I was people too, because I mean, okay, yes, I could be people, right? And because I was standing next to her. So, he taps her, smiles at her. And then he touches my arm And he smiles at me like a nod, and he's like dripping in sweat. And I could tell that he was tired because I kind of wanted to take a selfie, but I could gauge the energy that he was probably tired. And I just I didn't feel right asking like, oh, can I get a picture? Just because he looked really tired. I don't know. I just gauged the energy of people, and I could just feel that this probably isn't a good time to ask him for a picture. So, but he did, touch my arm, and he smiled at me. And I extended my hand and I shook his hand and I just said, hi, how are you? And then he nodded and he just smiled and shook my hand back. And as he walked away, so I got to meet him and say hi. And he just walked and he was, pleasant, he just looked tired, but he smiled and nodded and just said hi. And they whisked him away in his vehicle. And then Busta performed and people were hype. And, he talked to people and took some pictures. And then it was over, and I said goodbye, and he leaned in and just gave me a hug, and that was it. And I said bye to everybody, and I was like, great meeting all of you. And it was, and then I saw Miss Gorgeous in the VIP area too. Did I not tell you earlier that I said to myself when I was outside, I'll see her there, and she was there. I saw her there. See, I said it was gonna and she was there. And so everybody was so excited for me. Like, his team was coming over and hugging me. The staff of the venue was hugging me. The tour staff was hugging me. And like, they were like, you have such good energy. Even his lady was like, you have such good energy and you were super respectful. Like, it's not even a problem. Like, girl, you was like, and she was like, he's all about energy. So because you have really good energy and you're respectful, like, ain't no problems with you, like, approaching him or whatever. And, like, everyone was just telling me about how my energy was so wonderful. And they wanted it for me just as much as I wanted it for me. Like, they were really championing for me to have that moment. And even one of his team, he came and he put his arm around me. He was like, I'm so happy for you. Like, you made it. Like, you got it. You got here. Look at you, got your moment. And I said, I did. Thank you. Thank you for helping. I appreciate you so much. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I mean, people loved my outfit. They loved my shoes. They loved the fact that they lit up. Even the medical people, they put me on the golf cart and drove me back to my car because it was kind of far away and everything. And it was incredible. Okay. So one thing I want to bring back around, because I want to wrap this up because we're at 32 minutes. I'm trying not to make it too long. But the biggest takeaway, okay, is that I know people say circumstances don't matter. Circumstances don't freaking matter. Okay. It was 111 degrees. I passed out. Okay. I didn't even have my original front row seat. I had to be in the second row, in the middle, which was like super close to the front row because they were like it was really, really tight. So I might as well have been in the front row. But even though I was in the second row, it was part of my bridge of incidents. I was supposed to be in the second row, right? Because had I not been in the second row, I probably wouldn't have been connected with the staff that I was connected to. That was also part of the bridge of incidents to get me to where the after party was. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, everything was still orchestrated perfectly. And I'm just telling you, I can't remember the last time I was in the second row. Like, I'm never in the second row. I'm always in the first row. So it felt really, really weird to be in the second row. But if the worst that I do is the second row, I mean, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's fine. And nobody was even we weren't really in the first and second row anyway. Like, the first row wasn't even the first row. It was actually the third row. And the second row really was the fourth row. You know what I mean? Because they had to push the rows back so far. And I think that's why, because they were trying to move me up to the front row. Like, you know what I mean? But it was too tight up there. So I was given an option to move. Like, they really were trying to move me. But it was too tight because of the way they had the barricade because of the pyro. So I was actually being placed in the front row. But they were like, we can't do it because it's too tight right here. And then all the other rows that are actually the front row, you know what I mean? It's just too much. We can't squeeze you in there. So we'll have to just put you back in your seat, whatever. But they literally pulled me out to put me in the front row. So I just want to say that, okay? I was pulled out to go in the front row. So just technicalities just made it not work, and for safety reasons. We couldn't make it work, which is great because I whatever. So just want to acknowledge that. And so yesterday, one of my friends from high school sends me a DM yesterday afternoon, and it's a screenshot, okay, because this concert was just still giving, and the screenshot was of yours truly, because the videographer at the show was just talking to different people like, hey, just, do you mind being on camera? Okay, no, well, just tell me something about, hey, that you're excited to be at the show, or just tell people they need to get here, or whatever. So he asked me, hey, you mind being on camera? No, I'm fine, sure. And so I said some stuff twice. And then I ended up in the final edit video for that Indiana concert. I can't make this up. Go to 50 Cent's Instagram page for the Noblesville, Indiana show. And it is a reel as well. It's a reel. And at the very beginning, when he gets on his private jet, you see this face. You see me talking, telling people that this is the PSA that they need to get to the concert. I'm just saying. And I ended up in the final edit of the 50 video for the concert. I mean, what? I'm just saying. Talk about a double manifestation. What? And I'm going to put that screenshot up too. So you guys can see that picture. Crazy. Okay? All of the things that transpired, even to, being temporarily dissed about not being picked to go to the after party. And like I said, that happens sometimes. Sometimes we're not picked. Sometimes you're not going to be chosen. But in your reality, you can still decide that, okay, I'm always chosen. Maybe I'm not chosen that way. Maybe that's not the bridge of incidents, but there's another bridge of incidents. And there most assuredly always is. You are 100% enough, okay? Regardless of how I looked. And I was not looking, by that time, as sweaty and whatever, as I was looking, which you will see in our selfie, okay? The screenshot of me in the video for the concert, if you guys go to 50's Instagram page, that was early. Like, the show hadn't started yet, so I was still put together. But the picture with me and Busta, I was a hot mess, okay? In the video of us talking, I was sweaty. He started sweating because it was still hot outside, and it was like almost midnight, you know what I mean? And it was still humid. And we were still sweaty. We was both sweating. So I looked a mess, but I was still chosen. And I was chosen by Busta himself, okay? He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to stop. He didn't have to talk to me. And even if he just stopped to talk to me, he could have talked to me, took our picture, and then just went on inside. He didn't have to put his arm around me. He didn't have to tell me, oh, you coming in, and you coming in with me. He didn't have to do that. I didn't have to become like his guest. He didn't have to escort me into 50's after party where he was performing. He didn't have to do any of that. But see, that's what the power of your thoughts, your self-talk, and deliberate manifestation does. I believe because I chose the timeline where instead of getting upset or feeling low or staying in that low vibrational state when Miss Gorgeous was chosen, instead of being upset and feeling rejected and feeling all those emotions of rejection, I simply said, I'll see her in there. I'll see her in there. Bless. Get it, girl. You know what I mean? I showed appreciation and gratitude for her, and I said, I'll meet her in there. I'll see her in there. And lo and behold, I saw her in there. I saw her in there. I saw her in there because me and Busta walked in, and I saw her in there. I was like, oh my gosh, there's Miss Gorgeous right there. 4 feet away from me. I can't even make this up. I can't even make it up. I can't make it up. Okay, wrapping this up now. We're at 40 minutes. So I was talking really fast, so I hope it all made sense to you, okay? All things are possible. Anything is possible if you believe it's possible. Even when it looks like this is not about to work out. Because it many times it looked like it wasn't going to work out. Okay? I wasn't in my usual front row. Okay? Which also taught me that, okay, I really don't. And that's not the first time I'm rarely not in the front row. But it's not the first time that I did not make it to the front row on the floor. But I still got to meet who I wanted to meet. You know what I mean? So sometimes part of my bridge of incidents, if I want to meet whoever I'm going to go see, sometimes part of the bridge of incidents is me sitting somewhere that's not the front row. Because then somehow I get connected with the right person. And those are the people who I need to ask or talk to. And then all of a sudden, that's my path to get to whoever it is that I want to meet. You know what I mean? Like the bridge of incidents forms from that place. But I always hold in my mind, what is the final result here? What's my final destination? And the final destination is whatever it is that I want it to be. Okay, I want to meet this person. I'm gonna meet Busta Rhymes today. I'm gonna meet him again, and we're gonna have a picture. We're gonna talk. He's gonna remember me, and it's just gonna happen like that. After party or no after party, it doesn't matter. I'm neutral about that, but I'm gonna meet him. I'm gonna see him, and he's gonna remember me. Period. Like it's just gonna happen. Front row or no front row, hot or no hot, passing out or no passing out. I'm not leaving here until I meet him because it's just gonna happen. Period. And it happened, in spite of all the other chaos. It still happened, and it happened even better than I could have imagined. Escorted. I don't think I've ever been to an after party. Okay? I've never been to an after party. I don't think I've ever been to an after party. Right? So this was my first after party that I've been to, and I went to it escorted by the Busta Rhymes himself. Okay? So all things are possible, people. And again, these are things I'm going to talk about on my Patreon. I'll give more in-depth detail of what my thought process are, certain affirmations that I say, visualizations that I do, like how I switch my thoughts in those moments and jump from one choice to another choice, one reality to another reality. You know what I mean? One timeline to another timeline. How do I stay in that persistent state of mind? I will talk about all of that on like more in depth on my Patreon as well. And so you all, because I want you all to have these experiences too. Okay? Like, why not? If this is your thing, if this is what you like to do, why not? Why not have these experiences? You know, yes, persistence in your mind is key. You know what I mean? And especially if you're like, you know, an artist or whatever, I like to make sure that if I bring artwork, I at least want to make sure it gets to the person who I brought it for. So I will inquire until I get the answer. You know what I mean? And whether they're like, oh, yep, it's in their dressing room, or yep, it's on their tour bus, or yeah, you know what I mean? Until I just get an answer, or they're like, yep, I handed it to them myself, or whatever. And sometimes the answer just happens to be directly from the artist themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, the bridge of incidents always happens so interestingly, but my persistence, and then just me persisting in whether I have art or not, I want to meet them because I don't always have, or I don't always bring them something, and I'll still be backstage. I'll still get in the front row. I'll still have a chance to meet them. You know what I mean? Just off my presence, just off my energy alone, just because of my vibration, just by sending love to the stage and sending love to them and to their team, whatever. Like, it's incredible. It's incredible what can happen when you just start to shift your vibration and your energy, because all of those people just kept telling me about my energy. So I was clearly vibrating something. They were talking about my aura and talking about my energy. They kept just mentioning my energy. So clearly my energy, my vibrational field was emanating something very, very, very positive and high vibrational, because they were feeling it and they really were trying to help. So I'm just saying, people will pick up on your energy, and a lot of them will do whatever is in their power to help you get your manifestation as well, to help you get to that artist, or to help you get to that front row, or to help you do whatever. Okay? All right. So I'm going to add the video of me and Busta. I'm going to add the picture as well, our selfie. And I'm going to add also the picture of my entire outfit as well. Okay, you all. Thank you if you stuck around this long. I appreciate you. And there'll be, what, 2 more videos coming up that I'm going to post. 2 more manifestation concert success stories. One for Janet Jackson. Again, oh, that was a good one. Yes. And one with TLC. Went to see TLC, Sean Kingston, and In Vogue, and Shaggy, and it was life. Okay. And I will talk to you how I manifested my front row spot there as well. Once again, sometimes when things look bad, it could really be your bridge of incidents to getting you in the front. So stick around, and that will be coming up in the next couple of days. Okay, everyone. Take care. Love you all. Bye.
But I still see it in my house. Yo.
Busta has my painting.
I got a painting. She gifted me years ago. The crazy shit is, I still see it in my house, and I didn't remember who did it.
Oh my God!
And now I'm with the woman who did it.
And I brought him another one for the Lifetime Achievement Award.
She did.
Thank you so much.
God is the greatest.
God is good.
No, God is not good. God is the greatest.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu
Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah.
Julius Jamel Renal is Busta. He's right here. Yes.
Thank you, God.
Thank you.
More heat cause I always put you on and blow the spot to the very second I'm gone. Get your groove on. Now that you're tired, I hope your body be cooping, because we're keeping you moving. That's what we're doing, and you know we're gonna